Good morning, Facebook Live. This is Robin Kirby Gatto. It is an amazing day. It's windy for sure. And just FYI, it is always wisdom to have glasses when you're walking in windy weather. Wind isn't good for your eyes. It can dry them out and cause different issues, and you don't want those issues, right? And so as you join on, be expectant and hopeful. God is going to encourage you. So we're going to talk about money again, finances, and about your self-image. I started talking about that last week when I started saying it's about the honey and not the money. And when you realize the gift of God inside of you, that gift, and as I made mention yesterday when I was talking to some individual clients, doing a call session with them, I'm going to show you what the Lord showed me, and it's absolutely amazing. It will forever change your mindset. Some of you don't realize that your gift is worth something. It's the means by which God has given opportunity to cause wealth to come into your life. And I don't mean a particular number. I'm not talking about being rich. I'm just talking about prospering your soul and prospering your life in what God has called you to do. And that is more than sufficient for your life. One of the things that I do is I coach individual clients, some that have businesses, some that are entering their own business. And usually, initially, when they enter their own business, just because it's so hard to navigate, and as I made mention to a few, is that a lot of people faint in that process. And so, generally, I will do weekly individual coaching with people in those situations as they're transitioning from a full-time job into their own gift, which brings in income, and I'll do weekly coaching. And then probably after about 5 months, I transition to bi-weekly because they're at a good place. And thank you, Jesus, all of my people that have entered that transition have done so successfully. So it makes me super happy. And the reason that I can coach on it for individuals and the health and wellness Table It, for those that don't know about my TableIt.org site, that is the health and wellness portion of my ministry. I haven't posted on godsfirewall.com in a very, very long time, and I will when it's time. But right now, God has me focused on TableIt.org with health and wellness coaching, which includes spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, occupational, environmental, relationships, everything, okay? And so I've got all the credentials of degrees for that, but I also have been a full-time minister for over a decade in full-time ministry, and I've done so successfully without anyone navigating me except for God. And I didn't come under a church. I just stepped out of the boat and did what God told me to do. And I hadn't seen anyone like myself in that call because everybody I knew was under a covering, a church. Let me give you a heads up. Jesus is your covering, not man, okay? Galatians 1:1, Paul says that I have been sent by God. I have not been sent by man. That God has sent me, not man. So some of y'all need to get freedom right there, okay? Some of y'all keep answering to a man, woman, that isn't obedient to God. And that can get you into a lot of confusion and trouble because they don't have wisdom, because they're in disobedience themselves in the call. Neither here nor there. I'm not going to just expound and exhaust that topic, because the topic that I want to minister on today with walking with wisdom is again about your gift making room for you and that income. And God is going to have me share a different viewpoint so that it can bring liberty, it can bring freedom, it can bring wisdom, and you get it. And you know, a light switch goes off and you get it. So a couple of things, we're not going to expand on this today, but I just briefly want to mention this before I get into the gift, is that some of you are used to buying secondhand, and I know because that's been me for years, and just getting things secondhand. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely nothing. There's a lot of great things that I have already at home that are secondhand, but you just get into such a mindset emotionally in your body, intellectually in your body, where your body is just used to taking on secondhand things. And there becomes this self-righteous attitude, and I'm speaking from experience, but it needs to be addressed. There comes a self-righteous attitude of, oh, I get things secondhand, I'm saving money. And it's almost like it's a trophy or a badge to let everybody know how much money you saved. You know, oh, I got this, but you know, it only cost this much. I only pay this much. Y'all, that is so self-righteous. Nobody needs to know how much money you saved, how much money you spent for that regard, unless it's something like I'm posting about supplements that I'm using for my benefit and how it's affected me, just as information, not as a medical expert, because I'm not, but just to share my testimonies. And if it's done that for me, what can it do for you? Research it and talk to your doctor. You know, and of course I share the best prices I've gotten because I want everybody to get the best price. I do shop around for price, okay, because I do want the best price. But if a service is good, just like I had another issue with Amazon, so I canceled a subscription with them and went straight to the company, which is for my Oxy Shred, okay? I'm just, it's not worth the stress. If you're not going to deliver and you say you've delivered and it's not at my house, apartment, and it's nowhere in the building, I'm not going to get stressed anymore. After about 10 times, I'm done, and I'm going to get shalom in my life, and I'm going to order somewhere else and get the subscription somewhere else. So other than that, I give information on where people can just save and get the best price and quality of service. You know, if you save $1 and it stresses you out and you're never going to be guaranteed your product's going to be delivered, especially on time, then that's not a quality service. That stresses me out and it's not worth $1. I'd rather pay an extra $1 and get it from someone who is consistent and who can be credible and deliver when they say they're going to deliver. So, not to get off on that tangent, but God just really showed me last week how there is such a self-righteousness in his people that we don't realize we've fallen into. And it's like it's a trophy or a badge or a battle scar that we can show off and talk about war stories about how good we are at saving money, okay? That just, you don't realize it, but it has the undertones of self-righteousness. And so if you do that, I'm just letting you know that your viewpoint with other things with money is going to be massively distorted. And I'm speaking from experience, okay? It is going to be massively distorted, and you're going to judge others. It's just going to come. You're going to have this subconsciousness, informational signaling within your body, and the spirit of judgment, that addiction. It's going to be your addiction, and you're going to be addicted to judgment. And I talk about this in Mindfulness, Mind of Christ. And that is going to be your addiction, your drug, your fix, so that unconsciously you're judging other people and you're patting yourself on the back. Oh, I'm so good at saving money. We don't want that attitude, okay? We don't want that attitude, okay? We're not to judge anyone. That is all given to Jesus Christ. All judgment has been given to Jesus Christ. We're not to judge the person, we're to judge the fruit. But I've taught in one of my book coaching sessions for Mindfulness Mind of Christ, and those that are registered, get with me if you do not have this one yet. And I don't know exactly what number it is, but you can go cross the line from judging the fruit to judging the person, and we don't want that. So now let me get to the main emphasis for today. So the main emphasis is about the viewpoint of gift, where God's gift makes room for you. The Father of lights gives good and perfect gifts to his children. And so those gifts are your talents in this life, and those talents bring provision, okay? And one of the things that's really warped in the United States of America, in the Western world especially, not in Canada necessarily, but in the United States of America, not in Mexico, not in any of those areas, mainly in the United States of America, is that there is such an entitlement and wanting everything for free. Let me give you an example. When I was doing God's Firewall School of the Prophets and Healing of the Soul, and I did them 4 places a month, 4 places a month: Birmingham, South Carolina, Mobile, Alabama, and Winfield, Alabama. And so I would travel, Rich and I would travel to those places, and we were exhausted because we did tons of traveling every month back then for those years, 4 years. And there was one couple that was having a hard time, and they were coming to one of those locations, and it'll probably give it away when I say where they were. And so I said, I understand you don't have any money. And they'd give nothing, zero, okay? And I said, I know you don't have enough money, but I will give you the workbook and CDs for this particular God's Firewall School of the Prophets and God's Firewall Healing of the Soul. I just ask that you show up. And so one day they came to that weekend meeting, and they came up to us and they said, we're going to the beach, so we're not going to be here, they went to the beach. We went to the beach, so we weren't able to make it. Can you mail us the workbooks and CDs? That were the means by which I got income as a minister during that time. See, I didn't, as a minister, just expect to go preach or for people to give. I work. And just FYI, most days I do not take a lunch break. I mean, people do not understand, and Rich always says it, Robin, you work so much, people do not understand how much you work. Most days I do not take a lunch break, literally. I don't have time. I literally have zero time. And so I'm working all day, and that couple did not see the effort I put into writing the workbook, the effort in recording the CDs, the fact that it cost us money. So literally in 2016, we literally paid for me to minister. Rich, thank goodness, had something that was a blessing that came in, and had it not come in, I would not have been able to minister. And so for 2016, the year of 2016, we literally paid to minister to people. We paid to minister to people, which that was a time, but thank goodness we're not in that time anymore. And so then God began to show me how the gift that he'd given me, and me coaching people, counseling people, even before I was a health and wellness coach, spending time on the phone with people, giving to people, pouring out and teachings and videos and just giving. He said, Robin, when you get your health and wellness certification, no more of what happened before. People need to acknowledge the gift, and that you're worthy of your hire, that your gift is a means by which they give in order for them to get your service. And, you know, Rich jokes about it all the time. Like, people go to a restaurant and the restaurant expects them to pay. But when people in the past had gotten counseling, coaching, whatever from me, they didn't give anything most of the time. And so God said, Robin, people don't see your gift and they don't appreciate it. So he said, when you get the health and wellness certification, you say, this is going to be the amount for individual coaching and the like. And of course, God has blessed me with the books, which haven't sold a tremendous amount, but you know, it in time will be a residual income as they start selling a gazillion, which thank goodness Mindfulness of Christ is selling decently. I'm so super excited. And so that helps bring in an income. And so God began to tell me, he said, Robin, I want you to look at everybody. This is what I want you to do. He said, I want you to look at everybody, not as their job description. Not that I do, but he wanted to show me something different. He said, I want you to look at that person and look at them as their gift is in them. Oops, look at them as their gift is in them. And so I said, okay. And so I began to look at everybody. This happened last year. I began to look at everybody, and I didn't look at them as their job description or what work they did. I just looked at them as their gift. And that gift, all I can tell you is what changed in me is I just saw them as their gift. I just saw them as gifts. I just saw them as gifts. And that makes so much sense that the Father of lights gives good and perfect gifts, because we're all walking gifts. And if we're a walking gift and we don't see it as entitlement, but we see that person spent time with their gift, with me personally, one-on-one, you know, whether it's eating in a restaurant, whether it's shopping, whether it's attending school, whether it's whatever, you look at them as the gift of God in them to you for that moment. And oh my goodness, when God showed me that, it was like all these labels were ripped off of people. And when I came into contact with them, I honored the gift. When you honor a righteous man, you get a righteous man's reward. When you honor a prophet, you get a prophet's reward. What does that mean? You get the dispensation of that gift. And isn't it interesting that it says honor? So many people think, why am I not getting the same things that other people say they're getting from this or that or this or that? Well, it's called honor. It's called honor. Honor, which is something I am massively big on. And I speak, and I know Felicia's watching this. She's not on Facebook. She subscribed to my YouTube channel. She's a minister. Felicia, I love you. Give you a shout out. She's a full-time minister, just went recently into full-time ministry. And I've been navigating her through that, and she's done like me. Doesn't have a covering and has just stepped out, and God's been providing every step of the way. And so Felicia and I talk about in some of our individual coaching, and I went to her again about this, and she said, Robin, this just happened to me, and my other friend confirmed it. And I said, Robin Kirby Gatto told me about that. And it's about honor. And I warned her. I said, listen, familiarity breeds contempt. What does that mean? If people get familiar with you, they don't honor the gift, and they wonder why they're not getting the same breakthrough, the same benefit of the gift. And so that's for some of y'all out there. You know, when I get something on eBay And I can choose to make an offer, and I know I've said this before. I can choose to make an offer if I want. But there are times, and I would say about 50% of the time, I don't make an offer on those make an offer listings, because I see the value of what I want, and I want to pay that value because that's the value it is to me. So I'm honoring that seller, and I'm saying, look, I'm not gonna make an offer because what you're doing right here and the quality of this particular item is top notch, and I'm gonna acknowledge that by saying I'm gonna buy it at your price, your asking price. But you know what? Some of y'all need to transition, not shift, transition, and go through the process of seeing the gift in others and honoring it. Honor your children. If they do little things around the house, give them some income. I don't care how tight you are. It's no excuse. We do that in our family. Matthew still lives at home, and God is blessing him, and he has really honored, he and Chris really honor Rich and I. We brought them up that way, and Matthew really super honors us. And so no matter what I need, grocery shopping like yesterday, I usually send him grocery shopping if I forgot something, or to run errands, go to the bank and get quarters so I can do the laundry, or whatever. Go to the post office, drop some packages off, send some things out. So my point is some of y'all need to learn honor and not feel like you're entitled, but to see the gift in everybody. And when you do, guess what's happening? You see the gift in yourself, and you honor yourself. You respect yourself. Hey, good morning. Stay warm. So that's Walking with Wisdom. Think about it. God bless you. I love you.